This Shabbos is Shabbos Parshas Balak. It's Parsha on its own. It's not connected with Parshat Chukas, Balak. And also, it happens to be that this Shabbos is the 17th of Tammuz, which normally is a fast day, but since it comes out on Shabbos, it's pushed off to Sunday, which is the 18th of Tammuz. So it's called Shiva Asa B'Tammuz Nidche. It's the 17th of Tammuz that's pushed off. There's a whole debate in Jewish law when the 3 weeks start. If the 3 weeks start after Shabbos or it starts on Shabbos, because since the 17th of Tammuz is Shabbos, does it start on Shabbos? Or does it start after Shabbos, because since it's pushed off, so it starts after Shabbos. Anyways, that's a separate discussion. You should ask your local rabbi to find out the details. But it says in the blessings of Bilam, Kimeiroish tsurim erenu umigvois asherenu. Bilam said to Balak that I see the Jewish origin. Origin means that where they come from tsurim. Tsurim means like hard rocks. They have hard, strong foundations. And Rashi says, who is that? That is our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Then it says, Umigbois Asherenu, and Migbois comes from the word hills, like valleys. That comes our mothers. So since the Jews' origin, where do they originate from? From Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. So this that you want me to curse them won't work, because their origin comes from such a strong foundation and such a strong source that I can't do anything from it. That's what the Torah says about the curse. However, Chassidus says that this verse gives us the whole power of a human life. That what? Humans have, which their whole being is made from 7 emotional character traits. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, the emotional character traits. Love, kindness, discipline, mercy, your being, who you are. The problem is, when a person bases his life only on his character feelings and character traits, it could go to a negative outcome. For example, if someone has a tremendous love to Hashem, if he's only gonna live with that feeling of love to Hashem, automatically what's gonna happen is that love is gonna start diverting to a love to something physical and material. Because if you live and you live your life according to the emotions itself, then it could go to different directions. What do you need? You need to connect it to your origin. What is the origin? The origin is where our patriarchs, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, which represent Chachma, Bina, and Das. Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Meaning, our character and our feelings and our love to Hashem or our love to Torah mitzvahs has to have an origin, which is our intellect and the Torah that we learn. And that's why the origin, which is Chachma, Bina, Das, is called Tzur. What's Tzur mean? Tzur is a stone that's such a hard stone that only when you bang it, fire comes out of it. You know, it's called a flintstone. Now, what's the interesting thing about it? The stone itself has no fire in it. The proof is, you throw the stone in water, you could still bang it once you take it out of the water and spark will come out. It has the potential of fire in it, not fire, a potential of fire. When you bang it, that's when the fire comes out. The same thing is your character traits. You have to connect it to its roots. Where is its roots? Which is the foundation, which is the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. When you connect it to your Chachma, Bina, Das, then it becomes strong and powerful that you can't divert it to any way. That's why you'll see a very important element in Judaism is always whatever you do, even emotional things, should always come based from your intellect, from your Chachma, Bina, Das. Because if it's just an emotional expression, it's going to disappear and go into the wrong direction. As Alter Rebbe gives an example, when someone davens with tremendous passion, what happens after davening, if he's not controlled with his mind, with his chachma, you'll see his passion that he had during davening could become a negative passion, and he'll get upset at someone that's disturbing him from doing something. He'll say, I just daven with such a passion. Who are you to ask me these silly questions or come up with? What you have to do is right away after davening, you have to learn Torah, so you fill up your mind with the origin of Chachma Bina Das, and that will control that your passion and your love will be diverted in the right way, and it won't go to the wrong direction. So this is a very important thing that he says, that a person has to know that all your character comes from your intellect. But if you disconnect the character from the intellect, then what's going to happen is the character traits won't have the limitation and the boundaries, and then you could use it in the wrong direction. As the Torah says, when someone has a tremendous love to Hashem, if he's not controlled with his mind, he could divert that love and go to love food or love lustful expressions and so on. So this is what Bilam says. I see a Jew that whatever passion he has to Hashem is based on a strong origin, which is his Chachma Bina Das, his intellect. So therefore, his passion will never go the wrong way. It's always going to have the right drive and the right motive, because it comes from your intellect. And this is end off with a little story. The Alter Rebbe once had a chassid. His name was Rav Moshe Meislish. Rav Moshe Meislish worked 7 years on his character, that it should only be controlled by his mind. That means moach shalat al alev, that his mind should control his heart. So every emotion that he had was originated from and controlled by his mind. So after 7 years working on himself, he met the Alter Rebbe as a private audience, and the Rebbe told him that Moshe, you have a wide mind, and your job is to take your wide mind and control your heart. And I want to hire you as being a spy to spy out for the Russians from the French, because Napoleon then conquered Russia, and I want you to be find out what the plans are and give it over to the Tsar, so Russia should win the war, not France. So he was there with all the generals and all the ministers, and he was in the room there. They're planning the next attack and the next tactic and how they're going to conquer this city and that city. And he remembers all of it, and then he goes and gives it over to the Tsar, and they are all prepared, so when the French come, they knock it out. One day, he was there, and Napoleon, the general of France, walks in, and he looks at him and he says, "You're a spy." I see. And he right away Napoleon put his hand on the Chassid Moshe's heart to see if his heart was beating faster, and it didn't. It came like regular beat, as if nothing happened. So he said to him, "You better leave this room fast, because I can't prove you're a spy, but if you want to be a head shorter, So he left, and he said what saved him was that he was able to take his moach, his brain, and his intellect to control his heart. So even though he knew he's a spy, control. Don't let it burst. So Mirosh Tzurim Arena means that every Jew has this intellect that comes from the Torah, and if he uses that, he'll be able to control his character and never go divert in the wrong way. So Hashem should help that we should have good character traits that are guided by our intellect, by the Torah, and through that it'll always be in the right direction. Amen.